So I'm Candor. My real name is Tony Keckman. I'm a graphic designer within the Rainbow Six community. A lot of people will know me for the Rainbow Six esports cards that I've been producing over the past year. But at the same time, a lot of people will know me for being kind of like the creator of Project Prisma, or one of the co-creators of Project Prisma, this Rainbow Six fantasy that we've been kind of like working to develop, which is now up publicly. So I've worked a lot within kind of like trying to be more towards more of a community type person. A lot of the work that I do is to aid vision with the community and try to like bring people to light and give a lot of love towards like people in the esports community that regardless don't normally get a lot of love. So that's kind of been my passion, my goal throughout all of this. I remember I had Rainbow Six downloaded from like 2015 or something. I'd been playing with a couple of my friends back in college, and so I just got into that. And then I think that summer I started watching Rainbow Six competitively, so I started watching with the Six Major Paris. And then since then, I ended up working with CGG for like a good, like, it was like 8 months that I worked with them. I ended up going to the Six Invitational 2019. I went to USN, went to Six Invitational 2020, and so here I am. I think I ended up just like going to the subreddits. And I met a lot of people who just like who just had like a lot of who had a lot in common with what I was interested in. I think the very, very early cards that I started making, I started kind of like posting up there, and then like people, and then like it wasn't initially that I was like away from them, but like I think it's just like the very early designs, like I think like a whole lot of people weren't necessarily impressed with, and then so like they were just around there, and that's how I ended up actually getting my first like work with CGG. Was like one of the people who was working for them was like, yeah, you should apply for us, we need some graphic designers. So I just said sure, why not. So before this, I used to be a really big fan of professional wrestling, so like WWE and stuff like that. And they had a app, like a card app that was just like, it was just like a whole lot of trading, and I liked the designs there, and I thought to myself, hey, like, it'd be kind of cool if I could, try to do that. And then they just kind of like went up from there. I think, you kind of just have this idea and you take it. It's just been, it's been just working with them, and I think they've evolved since then from the version 2s, the version 3s. We're on the 3.5s, and they're all looking really good. I mean, the fact that I'm kind of like trying to get some of them printed out as like trials, which is I guess like a pretty cool thing. Really invested in the storylines and everything, and I was just like, I'm somebody who's just like, I love learning about storylines. I graduated with a major in history, so I love how events pan out and how events roll. For the Six Invitational 2020, I did like a winner's edition for the cards, and so Canadian's card was like the version of him at Six Invitational 2020, and then it kind of like changes to him back in 2017 when he was on Continuum. So that was probably one of the more unique cards I've done. I was really happy how that one came out, because that was a bit of a throw to the past. Project Prisma was it was this unique project that me and one of my friends started up. His name is Joe. You'll know him as Joe Bro. He's the current head coach now for the Susquehanna Sonics. Back in 2018, I had this crazy idea for like Rainbow Six Fantasy, and so he had a lot of experience with like spreadsheets and kind of like numbers, and so we kind of like worked together to set something up. Fantasy is the ultimate goal, right? But I think what we wanted to do was we wanted to provide the community with an experience, a fantasy experience that that puts you in the shoes of like an analyst, that has you making critical decisions. I guess you could say Prisma is a fantasy built by the community for the community. So I think that's one of the goals that I'm trying to get around, is trying to make cards for everybody. And so that's one of the things I'm hopefully going to try to get done soon. but you know, it's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot to keep up with the global Rainbow Six, because I'm trying my best to, you know, try to get all the regions out. We're all part, you know, it's all part of the same community. We're all, you know, equally part of that. You know, it doesn't matter what region you're from. You know, I don't believe that anybody should not be. I don't believe in, you know, that nobody shouldn't get a card. I mean, everybody should get a card.